definitely, and I think there was opportunities. We just didn't, we didn't get it done, and I know a fair amount of credit certainly would go to South Dakota State. You know, obviously two good programs, and it comes down to that. And but within the game, you know, too many things that just I think we created for ourselves. And, you know, didn't give ourselves an opportunity to open up any kind of lead at any point.
Your defense came through for you guys several different times there with opportunities, and got the ball back for your offense.
Yeah, I thought the defense, you know, after that first drive and then holding them to a field goal, but they moved the ball pretty well that first drive. I thought we really settled in after that and put in some horrible situations. You know, field position would have certainly leaned their way based on, you know, our turnovers where they occurred. You know, the way I think the punt game for a while certainly got you know, tipped their direction. Yeah, I think our defense definitely grew tonight. You know, I think we felt like we matched up well. We limited their run game. I think made it generally hard for Mason to do what he wanted to back there. And you get yourself in overtime. You know, the defensive aspect changes. You know, and you don't want to necessarily get in that spot, but we did, and then they hit a big play, and the second overtime, I know we get the pass interference, the first one, and I think we just panicked on that play instead of just being anywhere in position. So, yeah, I think our defense grew and did a lot of things that you know, put us in position to be where we needed to be, but ultimately it wasn't enough.
Third down execution, I guess what you kind of see from your guys there, and I guess also the fourth down at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think offensively, you know, that's a really good defense we just saw. I think you could look at third down. I think our first down production was all over the map. You know, far too many times we were behind the chains as far as, you know, our second downs go, and then, you know, we ended up in, you know, far too many third downs that were complicated. You know, you get that opportunity with them jumping off sides to get to a 4th and 1, and we got to be able to make that yard. You know, I'd obviously want to run that ball every time, and obviously the run that we did to get it done.
Those last couple of plays when there's the offsides and then the 4th and 1, and then they're measuring it up. The roller coaster of that, if we just take it through.
I knew we were short based on the spot. So, but yeah, to get them to jump off sides, and we really should have made the play on the pass in the end zone. You know, so a long list of woulda, coulda, shouldas, you know, in this game. And I would guess if we end up on the other side, Coach Jackson probably says the same thing. You know, we each have turnovers, we get punts blocked. You know, it was a lot of things in that game, and you know, I really appreciate our crowd. Our crowd was in it, and you know, really made it hard for them, and they obviously got the opportunity to work through it. So.
The two big special teams plays on the block punt on either side. I guess yours is technically a part of return for a touchdown, but either way, just those two big plays, how much did that influence the
Well, ours, you know, that's 2 weeks in a row we get a punt blocked. It's gonna be hard to win football games the way we want to with those type of plays. You know, and to then get one ourselves, you know, you could say it balances out. We can't get a punt blocked in 2 weeks in a row. You know, I thought Colby, he settled in. He made some big punts down the stretch. You know, and we put that kid in too many positions to have to punt, in my opinion. But ultimately, you know, their punter, I thought, had a heck of a game. He really made a difference, and Colby struggled, but then he made some big plays down the stretch, and you know, you just feel like this is a battle of punt teams to some degree, and you know, that's just one element of it. But we got to figure out, you know, how we can protect the punt and how we can get a punt off for sure.
What did you think or attribute to maybe the lack of downfield opportunities, especially after the one to Dane early?
Well, I think there's a stretch where we got pressure. You know, I think Justin maybe feeling that a little too much, I know, before the half, maybe in particular. So then his clock speeds up a little bit, and I know there's going to be some opportunities that we maybe had some guys running wide open. We just weren't able to get that ball downfield, and it's a combination. It always is. It isn't just the quarterback. It's not the guys getting open. It's not just the protection, but from a passing perspective, that wasn't enough to get it done. It wasn't enough production. I know, and even looking at rushing numbers, Justin scrambling around was probably our best offense, and that's an element of the passing game when they cover and they drop out, but ultimately from just a pure efficiency and our consistency in the passing game, it wasn't good enough tonight.
A lot of similarities to the only other home loss you've had here at Montana State. How do you kind of process just how close these games were and kind of how close or short you guys felt?
Yeah, I think big difference. That ended our season. That's the huge difference. I know both games ended in that end zone, but ultimately, this is still very early in this campaign, and I'm certain there's a lot of positives that we can take away to put ourselves in that position, and I know there's a lot of negatives that ultimately landed us in that position too. So, that's our 2 losses since I've been here at home, and it's not a good feeling.
2 guys that had to kind of fill in tonight, Dane and Cole. I guess just what you think of their play tonight?
Yeah, Dane's a competitor. I know that. I mean, the play he made in the first overtime, even that wasn't a simple play. We're gonna get everything we can get out of Dane, and Cole. Cole's he's a seasoned vet now. I think he obviously got thrown into it last week and prepared all week to be the starter, and I think he's a guy that's taken a pretty big leap thinking back to the beginning of spring ball.
I guess just how important was the pass rush tonight, especially when neither offense was kind of finding success in early in the second half?
Yeah, again, that comment, whether it was us or them offensively, when you get behind the chains and we both have defensive lines that can create some issues, that piece was huge. I think we had our fair share of lost plays on our side, and they did as well. And it's 2 good teams that want to run the football, that 2 teams that want to stop the run. So when that happens, you throw it a little bit more than you get in situations where you're having to throw the ball, I guess, a little bit more than you might want to, and that's challenging onto itself. So, I look, and I think we're 1 for 13 on 3rd down. You should win a game when that's the way it is on the other side, and we're 5 of 15. So.
Especially after a close loss like this, how do you make sure your guys are able to mentally move on and not let this one linger from here on?
Yeah. Well, all you can do is go back to work. I know there's another opportunity for us next week. I said early in the week, this wasn't going to make us or break us, but it was an important game to again gauge where we're at. And I thought we played really hard, but when it comes down to just pure level of execution, it wasn't good enough to win. So I think we got a committed outfit. I think we got a competitive outfit. I still think we have an outfit that's figuring some things out, and and I thought we prepared the right way this week. Obviously, it didn't play out exactly the way we wanted to, but I think that's the biggest thing. This doesn't. We're 2 games in. We lost to a really good team last week, and we lost to a really good team today. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities in front for this team.
What did you like most about you and Pete? Like most about that play call just at the end with Julius?
Well, Julius had been running really hard. I know they brought an extra lineman in. I'd like to think we can gain a yard there, I guess. See about that. It's easy to call the play after we ran it.